So now I bet you really want to see how it ends. But I'm not showing you that. You gotta get Summer Wars.
I'm getting it today.
When is it coming out on DVD? When is it?
It came out Tuesday.
Okay, oh, it's already out. Hey!
Yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah. Yay. You got one of the rare ones, too, with the art cards inside.
This, actually, this is from a friend who, she was here Friday and Saturday from Savannah, Georgia, because that's where she goes to school. She couldn't be here today, though, because she has class on Monday. So I was wondering if after this was over, I could sign this for me?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I'd be honored to.
He's not a douchebag in real life. He just plays one on TV.
Yeah. No, I'm a douchebag in real life, too, but I'll totally sign it anyway.
Oh, yay!
We have time for a couple more questions, and then we will end with the Summer Wars trailer, because it's so good.
And leave the volume up.
Good. Yeah. Yes, sir.
You mentioned that your character is like, total douchey throughout a majority of the film.
Yeah.
When you get locked into that mode, into that character, is it hard to is it hard for you when, in the part where you mentioned when he opens up and becomes like the total nice guy?
That's a really good question, and I don't have a very short answer for it. But the truth is, actually, once I kind of got my head around how he thought, you realize that his douchey side and the more vulnerable side that we see in this scene that we were talking about earlier between he and Granny, they're kind of part of the same spectrum, and that I made the decision that and Mike, of course, as well, being the director, said that that's kind of his douchiness is not natural to him. Like, it's a coping mechanism he uses to hide that vulnerability that he's feels to, and he's kind of he's gone off to be the prodigal son, you feel, not because he hates his family, but because he wants to prove himself that he's worthy of them. But he has to the attitude he strikes in order to do that is this one of he's just really bad at expressing his love for his family and his grandmother, and so he sort of wraps everything up in that sort of casual sarcasm, which is easy to relate to because we all do that to some extent. When we've got something really hard to say, we'll usually make a joke out of it, and sometimes we make ourselves look like a real mean ass by making a joke out of it, and then you just kind of go with it. But in the moment when he's really vulnerable, it was just easy because, when he's staring down his grandmother and she's staring him down, he becomes a little kid again, just like I would if my grandmother suddenly appeared and stood in front of me and said, "You are screwing this up," and I would it just melts away. And so it's not like they're two extremes of the same continuum, but they're not different. They're not really compartmentalized. One's kind of a mask for the other, and in that scene, the mask just kind of comes off, and it's very dramatically gratifying. It's difficult to do, but that's the sort of thing you love to do as an actor, as a character that, in such a short span of time, you get to see so many different facets of. So it's challenging, but again, with this film, it was so fluid because of Mike's direction and the script and the film itself that I never felt like I didn't know what I was doing, which is a rarity, actually. Most of the time I feel like I'm flying by the seat of my pants. Thank God for good directors. But in this case, all of it just was came together. So that was a good question. Thank you. I like this guy's question. He asks a lot of them.
You were a good egg.
So his douchiness is his chameleon circuit.
Yes, his douchiness is his chameleon circuit.
Yes.
It's much
nice reference.
He's much bigger on the inside.
Time for one more. You, sir.
Obviously, you guys have a lot of praise for the movie. I can see it's one of my favorites. Not a fan of all the time, but
thank you.
If you had to pick a singular thing that you think that Summer Wars does best, what would that be?
Oh wow, a single thing that it does
Summer
best.
Wars does best. Wow.
I think it sums up for me, it's really a movie about family and about how every individual in a family kind of copes with that fundamental tension we all have in our lives of being part of the tribe, as it were, and also trying to be your own person. And in a way, in the larger culture, we continue to do this beyond just the confines of the family by being online, because then you have an online family. Most of us relate to this being Facebook users or, whatever, or Twitterers. And it kind of just addresses what family means and how family shapes who you are and how you look at the world and how, that just, and just how the world that leaves us with is often one we didn't expect, and it's a lot bigger than we thought it was in just the confines of this really claustrophobic family where you have 18 people sitting around a table and no one can hear each other because they're all talking at the same time. You know, I love how it just addresses that tension and that beautiful just drama of what it's like being part of something bigger than yourself, be it a family or an online community or just the world at large, and the way that just the beautiful chaos it creates. That's what I love about that film. It's about family in the biggest possible sense.
And you know, my answer is rather similar in that my family is we're very spread out. Very, very, very spread out. Most of my brother and sister are in Indiana, and most of my family is in England. And all, you know, and then around the world. So my deepest relationships and friendships I've developed in my adult life, especially going to anime cons for, 13 years now. I've made so many friends with people in so many different cities, and a lot of friends on the internet. And Summer Wars, and this is like barf levels of cheesy, and I'm just going to apologize for it in advance, but Summer Wars validated my love for my online family, and it made it okay to love them that much. Like, it really was it's like, friends on the internet are real friends. Friends at cons are real friends. It's okay that you love them that much. Like a lot of my online friends and my con friends, I'd freaking take a bullet for a lot of people. And Summer Wars just imparted the tears that come out, and I'm even tearing up now, it's like that's perfectly fine and that's cool. And yeah, and I hope everyone who values online and friendships, no matter how you find them, no matter what you're into, what makes you connected to other people, you go and you do that and you rock on with your bad self, whatever it takes to be communicated. You do it because that's what fulfills you as a human, and that's what gives you a soul and keeps you going. So don't let anybody say that any friends are better than other friends. All friends are friends, and they should be close to your hearts.
See, we've kind of been raised. No, that's very beautifully said.
Where's my bucket?
But that's a great thing. I mean, you know, we're living in very interesting times right now, where things about, like, you know, the internet gets a lot of flack from the older generation because they, you know, whatever. But I mean, the truth is, and you make a valid point. You know, it's something that all of us has to learn, and it's a big threshold to cross when you're a young person or even an adult. You know, I don't consider myself an adult, really. I don't know when that threshold is ever going to be crossed. It's never. You expect it to be obvious, and it's not. But your relationship to your family is a big part of when and how you cross that threshold. But I think a big part of it is realizing that, you know, we kind of believe that a family is something you're born into and that you're stuck with, and that's not really true. The truth is, a family is what you create. And if that means it's blood relatives and friends, people online, whatever, a family is a family. And in this day and age, that's a much broader definition than it's ever been before. And to kind of sum up your question, you know, about what the film does best, there's a line in the film where Granny says, and I think it's beautiful and sums it up greatly, she says, never turn your back on family, even when they hurt you. And I think the best thing this film does, on top of everything else, is answer why. And that's why you should see it. So,
wow, what an amazing segue into the trailer. And just a quick background. This trailer, we did so many tweaks and revisions on this because it just had to do it. It had to put Summer Wars in. You know, it's a 2-minute trailer, which means it's a full theatrical trailer, which is a lot longer than normally trailers are for anime. But just like Summer Wars uses every second and makes it count, I really believe this trailer and the music that was designed for it and the lines that were pulled and the scenes that were used, it just really, I think it really brings it across, and it's just a great introduction. And it ends with that very important line by Granny Sakurai. So I'd like to conclude this panel by showing, and please, even if you've watched it a million times, let's just kind of sit back and be quiet.